this week, and just an amazing, inspiring young man. So Daniel's going to say a little bit about himself, and then for the people that are new here that weren't here last time, and I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. I'm not a doctor. I do work with doctors. I'm a practitioner to assist in people's healing. I believe everyone is a healer within. And so I'm just here to help assist. Now, whether that's with consultations or treatments or anything like that. So that's my role. So I've been working in this for 15 years. And I was based on Hawaii for 13 of those years where I practiced Ayurvedic medicine and also other healing forms as well. So I'm originally from Australia, and I started my healing journey there since the age of 8, pretty much. But so that's just a little bit. I've been doing herbal formulations and Panchakarma and a string of different things. Ayurveda means the science of life, but it's an offshoot for everything. That's why Daniel's been working in a lot of other different areas, and that's why I wanted to bring him here today too, because it was super inspiring just to hear what his journey's been, and I wanted to share that with you today. Okay.
So I'm Daniel. I call myself a rejuvenation engineer, but I'm kind of a natural hygienist. I believe that the cleaner the body is, the more that it repairs itself. So my specialties are parasitology, toxicology, detoxification, and water fasting. I run a water fasting retreat for the last 2 years in the Hamakua Coast. So people come and they water fast between 14 to 21 days on just water. I do private consultations in people's homes. I oversee water fasts of them at their own homes, but most of my consultations are done at my business. I am not a doctor, but I work with a naturopath and a chiropractor, and I've shadowed 3 doctors previously before that. But my own healing journey, I was never really, my family was never really like a holistic, natural health focus. They were not really into nutrition, but I had a lot of problems. I just had a lot of problems in my colon. I had severe acne, asthma, 2 allergy shots a week, severe depression. I was almost bald. I was 215 pounds, and one night I was watching the doctor on YouTube. Actually, the doctor I'm working with now, I just was watching him on YouTube, and he talked about toxicity and how to detox, and something just sparked, and then I just could not stop. I was like addicted to like information. So that's why I like doing free classes, because I feel like we have been bombarded. Even if you go to a health food store, there's going to be just toxic stuff there. And I think that spreading awareness helps empower individuals, but then it brings together communities, and the healthier our communities are, the healthier the whole world is. So my whole focus with health is just bringing back people's own empowerment. So
definitely. Yeah. So thank you all for coming today. So here we've got Agni. You probably saw on the flyer this word. It's actually Sanskrit. It means digestion. So I don't want to bombard people with names they've never heard before. I just want to streamline it, keep it pretty simple. Ama means toxins. So basically your digestion can't work very well if there's toxins in the body. Okay. So how do we correct the Agni, the digestion? Well, meditation's really good, or just finding a nice quiet place for yourself to catch up with life, with catching up with who you are. Think clean and eat clean is really important as well. Service, doing something, just a little thing, letting, backing off your car on the road, letting someone in, happens all the time here. Just think about, how can you help someone for today, even if it's something so simple. Wipe off hatred. This is a big one. Learning to forgive is extremely important, because when you forgive others, you're forgiving yourself. Whatever you project out is coming from within. So this is it. Free up and forgive. All right. So the most important thing is be thankful and be grateful. And really ask yourself what makes you happy. That's at the top of the handouts today. Is the whole aspect of healing is connecting to self. This one guru up in the mountains of the Himalayas said, everything should be about, your mantra should be, who am I? It's not really about, if I eat healthy, I'm going to be healthy. Yeah, we do have to deal with our physical body first to clear the mind, but the most important thing that we're dealing with is the mind. So, did you have anything to elaborate on that one?
No, I like that.
Yeah. So,
I agree with Ayurvedic medicine. Health is just not like one singular approach. It's like the mind, body, spirit. Even if you have a 6-pack and eat cleaner than anyone else if you're not surrounded by like people that just like ohana, and you don't have aloha in your life, you just will never live life to its fullest. So.
Yeah, and I think this is why we all come here too. You know, the people who have been born and raised here in Hawaii are extremely lucky. The reason why they're so lucky is they're connected to nature right from the word go. You know, from a baby, they're on the beach, they're in the water, they're in the ocean. You know, they're probably getting backpacked through the mountains. And, you know, from the age of 6, they're probably going off with their father hunting or doing something that connects them to nature. And this is super important because all the elements within are without. What outside of us is inside of us. Inside of us is outside of us, and it's nature. You know, when we talked the last lecture with, you know, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, it was all about the elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And that's out there and it's inside. So when something's not feeling right inside, it's to do with an element. You know, we live in Hawaii, we work really hard, I understand, but it's also super important to touch the earth, feel it under our feet, not with shoes on, and get in the ocean, feel the air, you know, get into nature, because this is what supports us. This is what's going to give you a healthy gut, and it's also going to give you a healthy mind. With the accumulation of being in this society, even though, again, we're really lucky to be in Hawaii, it's probably the healthiest places in the world to live, we still get bombarded with thoughts. And so this is actually what feeds our digestion. Now, you're made up of different constitutions, and we went through that last time. And it's in your handouts, you'll probably notice. I'm just going to go over it super quickly because we've got a lot to cover today. But the Vata is the air and ether element. It's more of a slim-line build. And so this constitution is going to be more prone to want to eat crunchy foods, you know, like popcorn and crackers and things like that, that are extremely dry for this system. And this is actually going to dry you out on the inside, which will actually affect the bones and a lot of other internal organs, causes constipation and lots of different imbalances. As soon as the body talks to you and gives you a signal and a sign that something's not right, you got to listen. It's really important. If you're not listening and you keep on going without listening, then you're going to get into all sorts of trouble. You know, an aggravation will start accumulating in the body, and then it starts localizing, finding a path, it gets manifests in a different organ, and then boom, you've got a disease going on. It could be minor or it could be large. You know, so you've just got to think things through a little bit, listen, and you'll be good to go. So I just want to talk a little bit like the human body. Okay, we've got the head here. Okay, so you've got this region, and this region to do with digestion. So this up here, the first region of digestion is what we call kapha, which is to do with the earth element. Now, this is after we eat food, it goes into here first, and then it goes into the stomach area, and then it gets eliminated with waste. So this here is pitta. This is to do with the fire element. And here around the colon area and the kidney area, this is the air element, and it's called vata. Okay, so if this gets aggravated here, you're going to have a lot of mucus in the sinuses, in the chest. It actually can, you know, imbalance the lungs, respiratory tract. So if you have anything like, you know, snot coming up and all this sort of thing, that's the earth element that's out of balance. And so to correct that, you need to have things like peppery things, ginger, it likes pungency. That's the first taste, pungent. So here, where all the action goes on in the gut. So you need a strong fire. Okay, you need a strong digestive fire, but if it burns too strong, it's going to cause hyperacidity and ulcers. So it's like driving your car at the same speed. You want that fire element not to be too low, and you don't want it too high. You want it at a nice medium where you get healthy hunger, you know, signals to eat. Okay. If you have a lot of diarrhea and you're not assimilating nutrients and food qualities out of your food, it's just gonna go right through you. So that's too much fire. Not enough fire creates constipation. So then it gets stuck here in the colon. Okay. And that's when you're in problems, because then what happens, the body needs to eliminate these toxins naturally through urine, feces, and sweat. But if you've got too much going on here, like too much going in and not enough going out, that's when you start getting diseases. So on that note, I'm just going to let Daniel touch base on a little bit about what they do to help eliminate toxins out of the body, which is this one here.
It's interesting how Ayurvedic, that's such an ancient system, more than like allopathic Western medicine. I take a natural pathic approach to it, and digestion first starts with the eyes and the nose. Has anyone ever heard of conscious eating? It's like really slowing your eating down, like looking at it, smelling it, like just, like how you feed a dog once or twice a day, they just tear it apart. But most dogs aren't constipated. Why are humans mostly constipated? Like a lot of people I do consultations with, they have they're lucky. They're like, I have sometimes one bowel movement a day. And a lot of people don't talk about this to each other, but a lot of people have, they're just severely plugged. They're not getting rid of the fiber. So on a scientific level, you really just want to chew your food really well. Like any of the monks or the people that live in the Hyde and the Himalayan mountains, they really, really chew their food really well. We're constantly eating in a car, snacking in the car, or eating in front of our computers. We're eating in front of a television set. So we're not just sitting with our food anymore. We're not really tasting it. So a medical approach to Ayurvedic, it is all about assimilation. It's not, first it's digestion. So you're taking this fibrous plant and you're breaking it down to what they call an ionic mineral. This ionic mineral is like a tiny little molecule. So if I eat broccoli or if I eat a big piece of red meat and I don't have enough fire in my stomach to break that down, it gets stuck inside your intestines and it starts ferments. And then that's when you attract parasitic infections. Some people are like, oh, I don't, parasites are a really weird topic to people, but they're actually doing your body, they're actually working, everything's working for your body. You hear the things about candida, you hear things about parasites, and actually nature is providing a way to clean your body out because you're not chewing your food properly. So with Ayurvedic medicine, you want to balance all of these hemispheres out. You want to chew your food well, you want to have enough stomach acid to break it down. You want, it's like overly processed food, like deep fried food or chips, anything like that, even if it's organic and GMO free, there's no enzymes anymore. So your stomach just has to really, really break that down. And then that's how all of these systems, they're always working for you. Your body is constantly working for you. And so if you digest something that's not enzymatically living or just really hard to digest, your body still tries to push it out. So I love an Ayurvedic approach to it. It's all about balance. But our food is just, there was a doctor in the 1930s that said processed food is going to be one of the biggest problems with us. And that was all the way back in the 1930s. And I wasn't alive then, but I could not imagine, I picture food being way cleaner now. You walk into the grocery store, even in the health food store, I avoid almost all inner aisles. You go around the perimeter, but everything on the inside is they're really fancy marketing and really awesome. Everything's flashy and it makes you just, something wants to consume that, but it's just, we have to really get back to clean eating. So
back to nature.
Yeah, back to nature.
It all comes back to that. We know it. Naturally, we know it.
I saw a talk in Hilo and someone said that we have nature deficiency syndrome.
Yeah,
and that's one of the things I really appreciate about living in Hawaii. Yeah, because we're our nutrition, we're lacking nature, but even if you eat the healthiest foods in the world, that's one thing I love about Hawaii. We're really fortunate. We're not lucky. We're fortunate to live in still a really clean place, and respecting the aina and respecting the mama is just so important.
And a lot of local people that are born and raised here too, they remember what their grandmother told them, they have their way of, their approach to health and healing naturally because they've been raised by family on top of family. It's not like being a nuclear family for them, it's been this whole big family, cousins and kids and aunties, uncles and grandparents, and they've all contributed to this information that they knew, got passed on. So, we sort of, in the Western world, sometimes we're not that fortunate to have that. We go seeking it because our body needs it. And so it will go, okay, we have to go here, we have to go there, we've got to find out the information so we can actually live a lot healthier, a lot cleaner internally. And also, it's not just about the physical body, it's body, mind, consciousness, and the digestive fire is about transformation. Now, transformation's on all levels. It's on a spiritual level, right? It's on a body level and it's on a mind level. We want to transform. Our cells rejuvenating at almost like the speed of light. I think it's every 15 minutes we've got 50,000 new cells in the body and the old cells are shedding. The only trouble is if you're super uptight and you're super stressed, those cells are going to stick. And it literally creates a sticky glue. And then if you're in a rush and you're pouring things into your mouth, then it just covers and coats, creates funguses and molds inside of the body, and you even have them on the skin. So then you just think you're clean and you're walking around, but in actual fact, things are just getting more and more backed up. It's like we've got this internal plumbing system going on.
And that's actually backed by medical research. If you've ever been close to a severe accident, you know that time slows down. That's a secretion of a certain enzyme in your brain to protect you. But if you're constantly stressed, your brain's slowly like leaking this like enzyme, and it actually like ages your whole body. So stress, when they say stress is the number one killer, stress is actually on like a molecule scientific brain level, it's actually secreting a muscle. It's trying to protect you, but it's actually aging you.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that we've talked about this last week that can age, you know, in regard to not just stress, but also, you know, if you're not cleaning out your body, you do look older because you're holding on to all this extra luggage pretty much that should be actually getting eliminated out of the body, but it gets stored in the body.
And I never would say someone's overweight. Like I was 215 pounds and I didn't really feel like my authentic self. But I never say overweight anymore. I actually say plugged. Your body's naturally supposed to eliminate everything you put in it. The second you put water in your mouth, your whole body's trying to get it to where it needs to go and then get it out. So if your body's elimination pathways are not working, then you're not overweight. Your body's elimination pathways are plugged.
And also everyone looks different. Like I was saying, body constitution, they're sort of more slender naturally. Doesn't mean to say because you look slim that you're healthy. Just because you're not overweight, then you're not carrying toxins. You know, generally a very slender person will have a lot going on up here more so than the person that's heavier set.
And I do lymph drainage massages. I do this ancient Chinese treatment called gua sha. And I've had a few people come to my retreat who did like 14-day fast, and they're like younger than me, and they have like an 8-pack. And I did this treatment on them, and they got deep purple like bruises everywhere. So just because someone even has like a 6-pack and they're like an athlete, like his lymph was so clogged because he had so much internal inflammation. And on a scientific level, I'm really into anti-aging, but your stomach lining, the cells are constantly reproducing itself. Like your stomach acid's such a powerhouse; it's like eating away the tissue of your stomach. But your stomach is producing so many new cells that it's constantly regenerating. But your whole body, your bone is regenerating, your eyes are regenerating. So in 7 years, every single cell in your body is a brand new cell. In 7 years, every cell is different. So why are we aging as faster than ever? Toxins are a real thing because I don't treat conditions. People used to get sick in the when you get 60, people's health started diminishing. Okay, people are 60, then it was like the 50s, and then it was like 40s, like the new middle age. Now, I don't believe that. I work with a 55-year-old doctor, and he's in better shape than me. And then now, I just had a friend say, "Oh, you know," she's like, "I'm not really feeling healthy anymore. I'm like now 28." 28 years old, and that's when our bodies start going downhill. No, the creator. I don't know who the creator is, but they definitely designed our body. When you live aligned with nature, age is nothing. You should just get more seasoned with age. So
yeah, I mean, I think they've actually got statistics that really old age is 140. So you know, if someone's 70 or 80, they're actually still a spring chicken. You know, they should feel like that. You know, I think when Buddha came in, you know, his whole thing was, you know, pain and suffering is about the aging process. So the more you look after yourself now, you know, the next 10 years are going to be better. So it's just like, you know, it's a mental thing. It's a number, it's an attitude, and, you know, you just want to lose all concept of that and just be, you know, just be on yourself, be the healthiest person that you can possibly be, listen to yourself, know when the digestion's not right. If the digestion's clogged and it's not right and you're constipated or there's heartburn or there's, you know, gout or any of these things, okay, you need to back off on the food. You need to back off and look at your diet and simplify it. You know, like the fasting way, I mean, the reason why I met Daniel is because I've got a client who came over from San Francisco and she's doing a 21-day Panchakarma with me, and we're on the last 7. The first 7 she did water, and the second 7 she did coconut water and cucumber juice, and this morning she just went into water again. So her last 7 days. Plus she's receiving 2 hours of treatments, body scrubs, herbalized steams, and enemas. And she's a powerhouse. Now that's not for everyone, you know, but it can be for everyone. What we generally do, we start off slow. Like she's been working on herself over the years for a long time. Like mentally she's extremely strong because she's been doing a lot of access bars consciousness workshops, and she's a facilitator, and so she's really, really knows how to work with her body with asking herself questions and listening to her body. There are times when I was like, no, we can't do it this way, like this isn't an Ayurvedic approach. And it was really good for me because I had to step out of my box and go, all I said to her was like, if your mind is as strong as your body, then we can do this. But let's just take one day at a time and just see what evolves. And she's like, I'm going to do it. I can do it. And she was just like, this is it, So anyway, she's doing amazingly well. She connected with Daniel on email. And so, as the universe brings us people into our lives, and we met Daniel because he's actually been coaching her and giving her advice on how to get mercury out of the body, how to get, all these other, parasites out of the body and all of these things that, I haven't touched base on before in the cleansing process. So it's been really amazing. So we want to co-facilitate this amazing program for everybody. It's not to say that you have to go straight in and do a 21-day water fast or a 5-day water fast or anything like that, but you can actually bring your eating down enough, because the only way you can get toxins out of the body is for it to burn out of the body. And so that's where we get the digestive fire coming in. The acid comes up and we start burning out toxins. If the body's always got this job to do of digesting food and, it's working really hard, you've got 7 layers of tissues in the body. I know it in Sanskrit straight off, but there's like Rasa Rakta Mamsa Mata Asti Margin Sukra, which is to do with the plasma, the blood, Rasa Rakta Mamsa, the muscle tissue, the bone tissue, the fat tissue. We're dealing with all of this area of elimination, and then we're dealing with ojas, which is your life essence. So we're cleaning out all these tissues through the purification process. If you're constantly bombarding the body with work to do with digestion, then you can't eliminate enough. And this is like burning up the toxins. So there's a whole process that we do, like in Ayurvedic world, that we do in regard to cleansing out through the mouth to the liver area, and then also, with the animas as well. So you can do it gently, and then you can do it more radically. It depends on your personality type. If you've got a disease but you're healthy, you can definitely go into more of a radical approach. If you're really weak and fatigued, then we definitely have a more, a more cotton wool approach to help support you, because you want to build yourself up to then eliminate. Someone who's really strong but aren't feeling very well, then, we can go straight into a pretty good cleanse and purification process where it would be okay to be on water. So again, remember the really slimline people that, they're a little bit more sensitive and they look like they shouldn't have any toxins in the body, but they actually do. Well, the air and ether element. And then you have the medium people that build muscle tissue really easily, and they're more of a pitta constitution to do with the fire element. And then you have the heavier set people, which is the earth element. And they can actually fast really, really easily, believe it or not. And once they get going on something, they're the strongest. And actually, they're the most loving people that you'll ever meet too. They're very loyal, they're unconditionally loving, they're absolute sweethearts. The fire element don't annoy them because, it's like, and the air and ether element, they're la la la, they're off in the clouds somewhere. So it's about the balance of all of it. The heavier set people are going to be like, it's hard to get going sometimes, couch potato feeling. Then, they're the ones that really can't miss a beat on their exercise program, and they should really lighten their diet. The pitta is more of the medium, and then the vata, they sort of do need food, but you can gauge them in a pretty good fasting process as long as they're not going to go hypoglycemic on you. So
when I first heard the concept of fasting, I was like, that's starvation. And there's plenty of water fasting retreats around the world, and you don't have to go on, we glorify being busy in today's world. We just work and work and work and work. And in indigenous cultures, when it was harvest time, the whole community would just take a month off and just eat and play music. And so we're working. In America, we glorify, I haven't taken a vacation in 2 years. So that's a mental thing we have to focus on. But when I first started fasting, I thought medicine was food. I thought medicine was just energy, but then I thought, and I was like big into raw food. I started healing myself, and I was like, okay, to remove that, I thought that it was starvation. But then I started, working with a fasting doctor, natural hygienist, and they said that you spend 71 to 83% of your entire cellular energy, your whole life, on digesting food. Could you imagine if you spent 83% of all your time in your whole life just doing one thing? And when I heard of that, I was like, I feel enslaved to food, because I was never, once I started eating kind of cleaner, I would just snack all day. I would just bananas here, apples here, coconut here. I would just all day long eat, and I'd have like one big meal at the end of the day. And I was like, wow, every time I put something in my body, it's waking up my salivatory glands, it's waking my esophagus up, my stomach acids are churning around. All my organs are producing enzymes to break that food down. My gut is constantly constricting. So the whole system wakes up when you put anything in. Your whole system wakes up. So you don't have to do a long-term fast. One of my favorite ways of fasting is it's called intermittent or block fasting. Intermittent fasting is when you only eat for like so many hours a day. So everyone's fasted. Everyone here's fasted. It's called breakfast. You're breaking your fast. So you fasted overnight. Every time you're sleeping, that's why sleep feels so good, because you're allowing your digestive system to go on a break, and all that 81% of your energy goes to your body. So sometimes we think allopathic, which is it's like pharmaceutical medicines. We think we have to have a pill. We think we need more and more and more. But like, let's say everyone probably has known someone that's broken their arm. They didn't give that person anything special. They put a cast on, and bones literally regenerate themselves. You don't have to constantly bone regenerates up, it's just there's some kind of consciousness behind our body that has a cellular memory that just knows how to regenerate. You cut yourself. Yeah, you want to keep it clean, but you don't have to put something special on a cut. It just heals itself. So when you remove toxins and your body is as clean as possible, it's like natural hygiene and an Ayurvedic approach. If you just give your body, you just cleanse your body and you actually give it less, it actually, your body regenerates itself. So if you can, I invite you to try and skip breakfast and drink an yerba mate tea, drink a green juice. Just drink. Instead of eating breakfast, just try drinking something. And then you can still eat lunch, a snack, and dinner. But just giving yourself, let's say you stop eating at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. and you don't eat until 11 a.m. the next day. That's really awesome. It took me a long time. I still haven't ate yet today. It's 2:30 and I still haven't ate. That's crazy to me. I love food. I love food, but I will crush food. I try to eat within 1 to 4 hours. So in that 1 to 4 hours, I eat a lot of food. But then I just fast every day in between that. And some days, on those Sundays are usually a little bit more gluttonous days, where I kind of just snack all day long. But it really is regenerative. And some people, what they'll do is they'll fast 1 day every week, or they'll fast for 3 days a month. And they'll eat 3 meals a day all day long, but for that 3 days a month, it's called block fasting. But it's been proven. You can kind of almost eat still junk food, but just allowing yourself that digestive break, actually, it's really good for weight loss. But what it does is that all your cellular energy, instead of going to digestion, it flushes out old cells. It produces more immunity cells, B cells, and T cells in your lymph. But your whole body is designed, in nature, I don't know what it was like in Hawaii, but in indigenous cultures, you would maybe sometimes go a day or two not having really much food because you had to hunt and gather your food. So our body is designed to sometimes be stressed. In gardening, if you have 2 plants and you water one plant all the time, the roots doesn't go deep. So then if you don't water it for a while, that plant just can't handle stress anymore. But if you stress your body out healthy-wise and just skip a meal just here and there, you can still drink something like an algae drink, a green juice, kombucha. So you can still drink something that's mineralized, but just giving yourself that little bit of a break, you actually produce more immunity cells. So you don't have to do a 7-day water fast. We're really busy, but just skipping breakfast and just having a good healthy tea, a dandelion tea. Sue makes really good Ayurvedic teas. So you can still drink and you still feel nourished, but just giving yourself sometimes less is more. I've heard about that. I went to school for architecture. When they said less is more, I didn't get it, but now I apply that approach to health. Sometimes we think that we need more and more and more, but actually our body is constantly regenerating itself. We don't have to even think about it. So I like the Ayurvedic approach.
And the body, because it's aligned with nature, it is nature, just like we look at a tree out there, that's who we are inside. So if we grab an apple and we eat it, we become that apple. Everything you eat, you become inside. Your cellular memory, everything inside of you, your memory, your structure, your cellular intelligence. It's like the galaxy. It's like the solar system. It's like vast and amazing, and just everything's in systematic order. So it registers, the law of nature is in line with the body's intelligence. So when you reach for an apple, your body's intelligence and every cellular part of who you are goes, apple. I'm going to be an apple. So when you if you open a packet of chips and just start hooking into that with God knows what else, because we all have cravings, right? That is what you will become. In that moment, that's what you're feeding your cells. As soon as your cells are rejuvenating, remember it happens every 15 minutes. So every time that you go to just drive into McDonald's, and hopefully we don't do that anyone here, but if we go anywhere for that quick fix because we're busy, well, we're feeding into ourselves a level of consciousness that our body will assimilate with, and it all works together. So that's why it's important to sort of take that moment and ask yourself, what do I need to eat? How am I going to eat? And why am I eating? Are you hungry or are you emotional? Okay, remember mind, body, consciousness. So why are we eating what we're eating? Is it because we're craving that food or because we really need that food? Okay, cravings and needs are completely separate here. So you're working with nature. Remember, every time we drive around this beautiful island, it resides inside of us, and every time we go and grab for something to put inside of our body, it becomes our body. Like every time we think a thought, it becomes who we are. Every time, every judgment, every criticism, every negative thought, every stuck thought is who we become. Our cells go, okay, so this is what we're doing now. I mean, it's like we're at school all the time. It's like, okay, teacher, yeah, we'll go there now. We're learning that subject, okay? So, so it's really about the level of consciousness, of awareness, of being very present in the moment to catch that thought and just go, this isn't where I want to be right now. I want to eliminate that and flush that out. We can do that. It's called our ego, actually, and that's why we have one. Our ego is here to keep us here. It's a survival instinct. Our ego isn't here to have fights with people, because if that person that you're having a fight with isn't going to kill you, you should just sit down and talk about it. Our ego is here to keep us safe. So if we're having these negative thoughts, they can actually self-destruct us. They really can. They can bring us to a place where we're going to get really, really sick. So our ego is there to help keep us in the survival mode of going, okay, body's consciousness, let this go now. We need to let it go, and what can we do in a more positive way that can feed ourselves and feed our body and our gut and everything to make it function in the highest place possible. So, consciousness is extremely important. Nature, consciousness is exactly like a cell. Like these plants out here, they have cells in them that help them grow, to help them flourish. And it's exactly the same sort of cells that are in our body. Everything's living and breathing. Even though it's a plant, it's in the earth, and it's in the law of nature. It's in that flow. It's shedding. Leaves fall off trees every day. They're shedding. That's shedding cells to rejuvenate new growth. And that's what our body does. So be aware when you go to reach for a certain food that you're putting that into your body for rejuvenation purposes, or what is it for? If it's an emotional thing, ask yourself why. Really go there. And then everything you have that moment to stay with it and then let it go.
Most of the time when we're hungry, it's actually like our microbes, or it's candida, or it's a parasite. True hunger is in your throat. It comes in your throat. Most of the time when you have signals from your stomach, it's actually you're thirsty. Mm-hmm. So if you ate a couple hours ago and you're like, I'm not eating dinner until another hour, I think I'm hungry. Take one big glass of water and drink it as fast as you can, and wait 5-10 minutes and see if you're still hungry. Most of the time, I didn't realize that once you do a water fast, because everyone, even animals, when they break their bones, every animal water fasts on this planet. And once you water fast for 2 or 3 days, all hunger goes away. You can go to the market, you can go to the grocery store, you can go to a restaurant, you can sit with people while they're eating. You have zero hunger. But then all of a sudden, it depends on what toxic level and how young you are, what level your body's at, this hunger comes in your throat. And you can tell people are like, I have to eat today.
And it's the pituitary gland.
Yeah. So
the thyroid.
So most of the time, we're actually not hungry. We're actually really just thirsty.
Yeah.
You're saying that's a thyroid with
with the thyroid, the first stage of, the hunger comes from here. It's that's where the thyroid is located. And if you have an imbalanced thyroid, you can put on weight and all sorts of things because it's not registering properly what the body needs. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to visualize what that, or digest that idea about hunger and the thyroid. Like, what does that actually? What
does it feel like?
Yeah. Is it like a? I don't know.
You can get saliva into your mouth.
Yeah, it's more saliva, but then sometimes like if you smell like sugar and if you smell like meat cooking and you saliva, sometimes that's actually stone on your throat. That might be something living. Parasites are really smart. Parasites. I could do like a whole series on parasites.
I like parasites.
Yeah, like I said, they actually work for you. They're working. Yeah, but you'll learn it. You have to just like I said. If you knew that you already ate that day, drink water. And if you're still hungry in 15, 20 minutes, then eat. But like I think since we live such a busy lifestyle, we think that we can only go to fast food or chips. But like fruit is the original fast food. Like you can eat a banana. Yeah, you just
Yeah, grab bananas. How many of us do that on a run, right?
So
if you have a couple of bananas, they're going to keep going, but it's full of sugar. So that can also create imbalances as well.
So I'm not a big fan of snacking on fruit, but I'd rather see someone eat something like a cucumber or even just like cherry tomatoes from the garden than eat like fast food.
And you'll see that on the alkaline and acid, that paperwork that I've given you. That's a really good chart. You can just put that on your fridge and just keep that close by. And you can also pick up at Long's Drugs, the pH strips. You urinate on them and you also put them in your mouth. Don't do it at the same time. But you can, that will show you and give you an idea where your body's at. Because, how many times do you really understand? A lot of diseases come from an acidic body. And we think we're being really healthy, but actually a lot of the things that we're choosing in our diet is acidic, even if you're a vegetarian. So, it's just like everything's about balance, basically. We're not saying you have to be a vegetarian or you have to be this. You are your own unique being and you know what's good for you. Your body tells you all the time. So it's all about what goes in. You have to also allow that to come out. And that's what this is all about. How do we digest it? How do we eliminate it?
So let's say, are you trying to balance within a meal the alkaline and acidic foods, or is breakfast better off being alkaline? Or just always be alkaline?
You want 80% alkalization, 20% non-corrosive acid. So non-corrosive acid is like you have distilled vinegar or you have apple cider vinegar. When you put distilled vinegar in your body, or like a soda, let's say soda is the perfect example of an acidic solution. You drink 1 can of soda, it goes through your digestive stomach and it goes into your blood, and your blood has a certain pH level. So when that spike hits up, your bones will release calcium to neutrify that. It takes like 13 glasses of water to neutralize 1 can of soda. And not only that, but you're putting metal up to your mouth, so you're getting metals into your blood. There's just so many things. So you still want some acids, like a lemon. And lemon is a good example of an acid. It goes into your body as an acid, but once your body assimilates it, it actually turns into an alkalized ash.
And we call that post-digestive taste.
Two things. Okay, I forgot. The thing about the lemons, kind of crazy because it's acidic, but when it gets down and starts working, then it becomes alkaline. Yeah, but what about the trip there? I mean, it's pretty acid on your stomach going down there, isn't it?
It is
you have a problem?
So
it's not until later that it really is alkaline.
You might
have an acid.
You could get an instant heartburn with lemon, and if that's the case, if it does aggravate, then I would stay away from it. You'll have an inflammation already there already. See, inside there's already the inflammation. So you've got to deal with the inflammation, and the best way of dealing with inflammation, I hate to tell you, but it is with fasting. And it doesn't mean to say you need to fast with just water, remember. You only need to do it for like a few days. And even if you do that intermittent fasting that Daniel was telling you about, that's enough. Like you can go with, okay, let me just skip breakfast, and that can be my fast. And then the next day go a little bit further. You don't have to do it all at once. I think a gradual approach is much better. So then you just, then you might skip lunch, and then you'll be really maybe hungry by 5 p.m. then eat. So what you're doing, you're giving your body enough time to get this inflammation out of the body before it gets bombarded with more food. So just remember, if there's not, it works. It's astounding. Yeah, well, I mean, the body naturally doesn't get hungry. The only thing is every time that, you know, the hunger starts kicking in, drink a lot. It doesn't mean to say you just have one glass, you know, like, I'm up to like things like this, you know, because even though I'm treating this client of mine, she's inspired me that much that I've been doing these intermittent fastings and it's just been amazing. And not only that, your mind gets stronger, you get more clarity.
All that energy goes.
You know, like all of a sudden you're not just feeling so bogged down. I call it like extra luggage.
I sell nutraceuticals, so like supplements, but they're made with herbs, and I can sell you a hydrochloric acid that's made from a beetroot, and that restores your hydrochloric acid that's in your stomach. But I just don't like pushing pills on people anymore. Yeah, I make money.
Yeah.
I don't make any money from doing these talks, but I love fasting because the creator, whoever is the architect, it's just designed the body to heal itself. Your body is the best physician.
Yeah, I mean, we're here to help facilitate. Remember, you come to us, you're in our treatment room, we're taking you to another level of being able to the things that you can't do for yourself at home, because like I said, I try and promote everyone as their own healer. You come to us for extra support, you know, because I said to my client, if I wasn't doing treatments on you every day, how would this water fasting be? Like, I'm astounded. I'm like, holy God, you're walking day 7, nothing to eat except water. And I'm like, wow, how are you feeling? And she's like, amazing. And so, you know, I'm just like, wow, this is pretty amazing. Then I said to her, do you think you could have done it without the treatment? She said, absolutely not.
You get so bored.
You know,
You have no idea how beautiful food is until you stop treating it like a drug and you take it away from you, and life becomes so dull. Your brain will feel more clarity than ever. Like, I had a 67-year-old come from Australia, and his wife had to put his shoes on. His 6th day of fast, he came up and picked me up from behind. He's like, I haven't felt like a ninja since I was 20. I had another person that she was in a wheelchair. She had Lyme's and Crohn's. She was in a wheelchair. She was the longest fast. She did 24 days in a month and a half of being there. So she did 24 days with water, a week of coconut and green juice, and a little bit of like fermented coconut meat. And then she started doing raw foods. She was doing handstands. We got someone going from a wheelchair to doing handstands. So I could push supplements on people all day long.
I mean,
And those help.
yeah,
Or teas or
yeah.
herbs, those help. But the most legit form of detoxification is just eliminating every toxin in food and allowing your body to regenerate.
And don't wait until you feel an imbalance, you know, because you want to be, ahead of the horse, not behind it. Something like that. I need a muscle. Right?
It's easier to start now than
Lots of
having to
horses.
backpedal once you see a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's better to maintain your health through regularity and rhythm rather than going ignore, and then all of a sudden there is a big problem and you've got to try and correct it. If that happens, well, then it's like, you have to do something right now. You can't procrastinate any longer. Enough is enough. The body knows how to rejuvenate and how to restore itself, but it does need your help, and it needs the help again of your mind to engage and to go, yes, okay, I'm finally listening to you, let's do something. Now, to get rid of the toxins, it's not just by fasting. If that's too much for you, you can lessen the diet, like just reduce the meals and just try and lighten up the food a little bit. Like instead of having a big meal, like have some soup or something, just lighten it up. Drink some warm water. Warm water is a great way of eliminating toxins out of the body. So cold constricts and warmth expands. So you need to expand to get the toxins out. The reason why the glue or the toxins and everything gets stuck to the cell is because of constriction. So this also, again, comes with how we choose to live our life every day. Okay, and that's why people meditate, because they get to relax, which actually gives the cells an opportunity to let go. If we're racing around, drinking in the car, getting to our job, racing, looking at the clock, and then everything's in contraction mode right there. And if life does get super busy, we're coming up to the busy season, Christmas and all of that sort of thing. I mean, if things are busy, just take a moment to breathe. I mean, the breath is it's completely free. And,
Still,
this is
might
going
not
to
be
be
in
a
the
lot of
future.
us. Stay here. Here we go. The heart.
the breath of life is real.
So
Even on a scientific level, your lymph. Does anyone know what the lymph is? it's a system that's a part of your circulatory system. It's a separate system, but it intertangles in between your blood. Your heart has a pump, and it goes all the way from your heart. It goes to your fingertips, all the way down. I have a vein going all the way down to my toes, and then it comes all the way back. So toxins, when they're in your blood, and like people have poor circulation, it gets stuck. A lot of our toxins get stuck in our hands and feet. So what the lymph does is it goes in and out of the blood, and it takes toxins out. But the lymph doesn't have a pump. It doesn't have a heart. So I wish I was going to do a PowerPoint slide. I wasn't sure if there was a projector. I think sometimes it's good to see anatomy as you learn about these things. But what moves it is movement and breath. It's the most beautiful thing. Now they're getting really good about showing actual like vessels like pumping. But I used to be like, you have to sprint and lift weights. But just going for a simple walk actually moves your whole lymph. So more like we live a very sitting down lifestyle, a sedentary lifestyle. Just walking, 1 walk a day, 2 walks a day, and that just focusing on your breath, equal in breath, your nose, equal out breath. It actually is on a scientific level. It actually regenerates your lymph. But in Hawaiian, it's just like the breath of life is what they all shared. And it's one of the things that I just really appreciate and honor with the Hawaiian culture.
And just remember again, we're going with consciousness again. You have to be conscious and aware to make these changes, right? So you have to catch yourself in that go-go mode of holding your breath to remind yourself to breathe. So it's also about consciousness, thought, catching yourself to make the changes, and actually actioning it. Okay. So this is really simple and super easy. Anyone with anxiety, panic attacks, anything like that, if you take like 10 times a day, 4 deep breaths, it grounds you. Instantly you'll feel everything coming down instead of up. We get this motion, and so we want that motion. It's like when you do yoga, you've got something going up, something going down, and that's the whole concept of yoga, it's like this stretch sort of, yin and yang polarity thing going on. So, but the most important thing is we need to see it, we need to feel it, we need to experience it, and we need to make the change. So, is there any questions? Because we're sort of like rattling it off here.
So when you talk about consuming water or warm water expanding or making tea or mate or whatever, how do you know whether you can trust your water, and is there something you can do if you're using tap water? What do you recommend to make it
I personally go to the guy down the road here or whichever way it is.
So the
I get
filtered water.
Yeah, I get the alkaline water. That's what I personally drink at home, and even when I make everything from that water, I boil tea, I do everything from that water.
The water in Waimea is really good quality, but there's still chlorine, and there's not chloramines in the water, but chlorine kills the flora in your intestinal tract. So it kills all your gut wall flora, but it also causes inflammation. So on my drinking water, I have a filtration system on my drinking water, but I just bought like a $60 dechlorinator for my shower. I mean, I'm not a plumber, and I could easily just install that easy filter. But that's really good because when you're taking a shower, you actually consume 2 glasses of water. So every day you're just killing your gut wall flora, and you're causing inflammation because a hot shower opens your pores up, and then you're actually, anything you put in your skin, you're assimilating into your body, into your bloodstream within 46 seconds. So the water here actually is not that bad. The whole island does not put fluoride.
But
Fluoride's really
does
bad.
it make any sense to boil it for X amount of minutes?
I mean, I would get even if you just go to Target or Costco and you get one of those it's better than a Brita. It's called a zero water filter.
Okay.
That's better than anything, and that's actually not that expensive. But you can even go to Costco and get a reverse osmosis system. It's like a 3-stage water filtration system. And I think it's like $65, $70. Yeah.
My understanding is that if you leave if you leave your water out for 12 or 24 hours, the chlorine
Evaporates.
Yeah.
That's
I think I read that one time.
Distilling.
Distilling is good. You can
Distilling
also,
is the best.
yeah.
I mean, it's torn. If you don't
agree with
I do distilled water every day, and I fast people on distilled water. But if you're not eating raw minerals, if you're eating like fast food and you're eating chips and you're eating burgers and you drink distilled water all day long, that's why people have like negative research on distilled water, because distilled water is like 0 ppm. There's no parts per million, so there's nothing. I call it dry. It leaches ions from your body, so it's really detoxifying. So if you're eating a diet really low in minerals and low in vitamins, it's really overcooked and processed, and you're drinking distilled water, not constructive. But if you're, doing a green juice here and there, and you're, eating a salad once a day, and you're, then you can drink distilled water. But distilled water is the best quality because everyone's on pharmaceuticals. I forgot, it's the quote, how many people are on benzos and pharmaceuticals in the world? Our water actually is like really messed up. I know someone that's at Berkeley, and they're trying to create like a water filtration system that actually takes out the pharmaceuticals and the bisphenols. And filtration is really expensive. We're really lucky to live in a country that filters our water decently. Like there's no fluoride in the water in Hawaii. In the mainland there is. So we're a little bit fortunate that way. But in some countries they will never have access to the water that we have.
Can I jump back just for a second?
Yeah.
I think, unless I'm wrong, chlorine is gas, right?
Yes.
Chlorine gas.
Yeah.
That's why it dissipates in 3-4 hours.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
So that's helpful if you're not going to get bothered.
Yeah.
But if you're
The chlorine means that you can't get rid of
Chlorine means they're different than chloride. Oh, there's something that's
Yeah.
solid and they stay in the water.
chloramines, I have it written down. Chloramines are more temperate, and chlorine was the first one that they used, but now they're using chloramines, and those are hard to get out of the water. So there's two. I think it's chlorine here is what they use, but you can call your local water company because it's different. Kona is different than Waimea, and Waimea is different than Hilo. But they have chloramine filtration systems, and they have for your shower, and they have chlorine. But don't get the vitamin C ones; they're a little bit more expensive, and you have to replace them like every 6 months. The regular ones you only have to replace like once or twice a year, and they're really cheap.
Was that what you're using here in the water?
Waimea, I'm pretty sure it's chlorine. I don't think are they using chloramines? Call your local water representative.
The water man in front of this place, what does he do?
Big Island guy, Big Island water. He's got a huge filtration system.
Yeah.
He does our own.
Yeah. That's where I get my water from. Because I was like, I asked him to look at this filter, and I shouldn't expect to go into the other room.
Yeah, he was a chiropractor at one time.
Yeah.
So,
So, I mean, I'd like
but
to taste
you don't
it
get alkaline water from him.
from him.
From this person that the water company here.
Right down,
Oh, right.
down here.
Oh, you're somewhere else. Where are you talking about?
I was talking about up here. I thought it was outline.
There's one right in front of Tutu's house. That's like the next parking lot.
Yeah, that's where I am.
That's where
Yeah.
you're going.
Alkaline water is really good.
I've heard about putting a silver spoon, which creates silver coils in the water, and holding that in your pitcher of water, just dropping the silver spoon and doing that in a pitcher of water.
Oh, wow.
Is that
I make my own colloidal silver at home with a basic machine.
okay?
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
If there's not a charge to it, I wonder how the ions from the chlorine are attracted to the silver spoon. So I'm not sure.
I know in
I
Ayurveda
just-
we do
I
that.
heard about the story about being born with a silver spoon in your mouth, and what it was back then they had silver, and so silver colloidal helped the children live longer because it helped.
Well, I literally
So,
make.
really good story.
Then I was told to
Yeah.
drop the silver spoon in my water and keep it in my drinking water at all time. That way I got the silver colloidal. I can't say the word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Colloidal silver,
Yeah.
Yeah, I make my own colloidal silver at home. I use 2 silver rods plugged into like this little
Right,
machine,
right.
and I make my own colloidal silver. The best way to consume colloidal silver though is it never hits light.
Is
Okay.
what?
Once colloidal
So-
silver, that's why colloidal silver, it does work like in the store, but once colloidal silver hits like even the smallest little LED light on your phone, it takes the charge away from it. It's still like antimicrobial, antiviral, but if you want to really regenerate yourself, making your own colloidal silver at home, I sell these machines that you can make your own colloidal silver. And it's really, I make colloidal silver, I make colloidal gold, and I make colloidal platinum. And that is that's advanced for this class, but yeah, you can make you make it for so cheap at home. It's so, once you buy the machine, you just keep making it. Like it's the price of water then, and like plugging it into your wall. So it's super regenerative. I don't know about this without putting a charge into the spoon. I don't know how much of the colloid, how much of the silver particles. You're getting a little bit. You're definitely getting a little bit, but I don't know if it's like enough to be medicinal. Yeah.
So then we're talking about minerals.
Right,
Okay,
okay,
so-
so I didn't mean to get off track.
No,
No,
that's
ask
good.
questions. Yeah,
No,
I want to
this
meet
is
people's
good.
needs.
This is really, it's all good. Like copper is the same thing in Ayurveda. It's sort of very cooling for any inflammation in the body. So you can get like a copper cup or a copper bowl and put water in it overnight, and then first thing in the morning you drink it before anything else.
And what was the last part of that?
You just drink it in the morning. You hold it in the copper vessel overnight, and then just beside your bed, and then when you wake in the morning you drink it. So then it's got the copper minerals, which is very cooling for the body. So it helps with inflammation. You've got to go online to get copper things. I mean, if you're interested, the last page of these handouts says Daniel's information and myself. So if you have any questions, you can just
I
always
have business
email.
cards too.
Yeah.
Oh, you got these emails.
But minerals in the body is really good. Shilajit is a really great herb for minerals as
Shilajit's
well.
awesome.
You know, yeah, have you heard
It's
of
a rock. So Himalayan rocks produce this mineral,
Okay.
and people like repel and they scoop it up and they dehydrate it in the sun. But it's like literally, it's called the power of the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? It's called. Isn't it called like the power of the mountain or something?
Yeah.
It has a lot of fulvic and humic minerals in it. Probably more than any fulvic than you can get anywhere else on Earth naturally, and it's super detoxifying. I love Shilajit.
So you know just you can Google this. Where do you get your Shilajit from?
The company I sell bulk.
I used to get
It's a wholesale company for superfoods.
Yeah, the superfood.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of which
Do you
one
sell
it
them?
was. I don't have Shilajit right now. But I think the living foods or
Mine's Earthshift products.
what is it?
Earthshift products.
Earth Shift.
The only thing is, so I work for a company that sells it all wholesale. I like it because I can buy like a pound or 5 pounds worth of stuff, like MSM or cacao. I can buy like a 5-pound bag of things, but it just doesn't come. Like some people like Shilajit coming in capsules, just because it has like this coffee taste to it when you put it in your drink. I don't mind it. Like I crave it now, but this company that I sell superfoods from, it doesn't come in capsules.
So
So sometimes people don't have time to put it in. So yeah. Oh,
MSM.
MSM is really good for it helps the cell membrane, like it heals the cell membrane, but it's also really anti-inflammatory. So if you know anyone that has any inflammation problems, arthritis, taking MSM is like legit. Like I've seen people like who like what's that surgery, carpal tunnel surgery, and they just took MSM, and just that alone. If I ever like get fire ant bites or some kind of bites from climbing a tree in Hawaii, I mix a little bit of MSM and coconut oil and put it on. Inflammation, you can like almost watch it go down. So MSM is a really good one.
And it's really great for the skin as well. Because the bones in the skin, same.
So if you Google that, you're Googling MSM.
Yeah, and they sell it at the health food store.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
But
pretty
you never
common
quite
one.
know how much to take. They say 3 pills a day or whatever.
I take way more than that. That's why it tastes really not the best. If you mix it with lemon, it definitely masks the taste.
It can be really intense.
Yeah.
It's super
It's
bitter.
sulfur, so it just
Yeah.
tastes sulfurish. Yeah.
Yeah. But minerals are a really important part of our body, just in regard to digestion and
Speaking of minerals, the 3 things I put everyone on when they come see me is magnesium. Everyone, just Google search it. Don't believe anything they say. Just look up magnesium deficiency, and you'll see every clinical research that says, especially in America, because of the way that we farm, everyone is magnesium deficient. I like doing ionic magnesium. It means that it's already in digestible form, so as soon as you take it, it just gets digested. But there's all different you can take powders, you can take capsules. I like ionic. It's a liquid form. My body just assimilates it really well. So ionic magnesium is what I recommend everyone, even if you're a 6-pack triathlete that comes here. That magnesium helps your bowel movements. It helps you sleep. It helps your balance your moods. It helps charge your cells. It helps calcium go to your bones. It's just like a go-to. Everyone should have something for their thyroid. I do this Lugol's iodine. It's LUGOLS, and it's an iodine that you don't take internally. You put 3 drops on your wrist, and you rub your wrist together. I actually did it, but it's gone now because iodine stains your skin for a while. You can even rub on your wrist and rub it on your thyroid, and then some kind of fulvic minerals. Those are the three things I put everyone on.
What's the last one?
Fulvic,
Fulvic,
Fulvic.
the company I sell online, Earthshift Products, they have the heaviest concentrated fulvic I've ever seen. I could bring it next time, or I can actually plug a light bulb. I can put just a couple drops in a glass of water. I'll plug a light bulb in, and this light bulb will get brighter than like even the electricity from like the wall. So a lot of companies, because they're just trying to make money, they dilute a lot of their products. So the company I work for, that's like the wholesale superfood company, they have really high concentrated stuff. And they have half off shipping to Hawaii.
Wow,
Yeah.
extra bonus.
Yeah.
You said, I don't know
goodness,
what
we
it
should
is, the
all
brand
do that.
name, Ogles, I don't know.
Lugol's.
Oh,
Lugols. That
okay, well, I mean, I thought of this a while ago because of radiation or x-rays or whatever. But you can get decolored, well, it's no color, iodine at Long's. Iodine, I mean, does it really matter what kind? And I would just, I don't know, is it better on your thyroid or you put it on the bottom of your foot? I read once you put iodine on anywhere, it'll absorb before you go get an x-ray or whatever.
Yeah.
Generally wanted to go into a vein, like closest to a vein. That's why we put it on the wrist here so it can channel.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, that's not her approach to Ayurveda. Her approach, she meets the individual needs of who she's consulting. But I do that too, but that's like the basis of my nutritional program. You don't have to change your diet when you come see me, but that's everyone, even if you're a triathlete or you're trying to lose weight or you're trying to balance hormones, those are the three things, and they're really affordable from that website. And I just put that on everyone. That's my go-to.
Yeah. And like in February, we'll be doing a combined cooking class too. So we'll be bringing in some, recipes and things like that, some quick dishes, that are really nutritional. And, like Daniel's a raw food chef, I'm an Ayurvedic raw food chef. So between the two of them, I'm sure we'll get a really nice, scrumptious, easy to prepare food. Like I'm big on collard greens and I really pump in the greens every day. So, we'll be talking about the benefits of all of that. So, right now, everything is all combined. If you've got a sore toe, it doesn't mean to say that's not coming from somewhere else in your body. So, everything's combined in regard to, your health with what you put in your body, how your approach to life is, how you think, and just how you assimilate everything. So this is why we're doing the classes. We're trying to get in here once a month so we can just keep doing these building blocks. So then you'll have enough tools then and enough inspiration. If we do this for like 6 months or 12 months, like once a month, then you're getting like a really broad range of information and you're getting support knowing that, next month we're going to be doing another one. So it gives you those, 29 days or 28 days before you get in front of us again to be inspired enough to create the change. So they say it takes 21 days to create a change. So if we can like keep your momentum going in your interest, then we can create a better health system, for you individually. Okay, so this is what we wanted to do, is just come out and try and do a little bit of education for everybody so everyone can create their own support network at home and then come and see us if you want to go an extra level. It doesn't matter, but what matters to me is what you're doing today and tomorrow and the next day, how you feel, because I always go back to the consciousness, because it's how we feel and how we think that vibrates energetic fields out from us, like little ripples, and we're big sponges, so we soak everything in. Whoever we're standing next to in line at wherever we're at, we're going to feel their energy, right? So if we can create a better lifestyle for everyone and a better layer of consciousness and choice, then, we want everyone to feel great every day, no matter what comes at us. We can control what's going inside our body, but we don't control what's coming at us. Like I think on the left side of women, it's, if there's an imbalance on the left side, it means we're dealing with our emotional field. On the right side, we're dealing with what's come outside of us towards us, and men, it's the opposite. So on the right side of their body, if there's imbalances, they're dealing with their emotional field, and on the left side, they're dealing with what's coming towards them. So you can have this control for yourself in these choices, but then we don't know when we get up what's going to happen. So, the phone's going to ring, or who we're going to meet and greet, and who's going to give us joy, who's not going to give us joy. So it's just our choice then how we choose to go about that. Because if we go out fighting and screaming all the time, even though we're getting an energy out, we're also creating acidity in the body. And even though we know a little bit's okay, if we're doing that consistently, even though we're eating really healthy, you're still going to be acidic.
Even if you're eating healthy, everyone needs to cleanse.
Yeah,
Cleansing and water fasting and Ayurvedic treatments have been around longer than many, like even Western medicine has not been around a fraction of the time, and it's caused. If you go to Costco, go to Walmart, and you look around, people are really like sick, and it's really it's sad. I'm not judging them. It's sad. It's really
Cool that observation.
yeah, I'm not judging them.
Yeah.
I was that. I just feel when my heart hurts for people. Our power is slowly being taken away from us. But the beautiful thing about cleansing is that you just start feeling, you don't even realize how good your body is designed to feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing, your potential. Everyone's got this incredible potential. And observation, like observing everything outside of you and also observing everything inside of you. Like as a practitioner, when I consult with somebody, my first stage of diagnostics is what I see. So we're dealing with all our sense organs here. So the more clarity you have and the cleaner you are, the easier the choices that you get to make. You know, sometimes like, no, do I go over there? Maybe I'll go over here. That's a sign of, if that keeps happening, you know that you need to cleanse. Because clarity comes from cleansing, because you're cleaning out all the senses, you know, the ears, the eyes, the nose, the skin.
So if you're indecisive or confused, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, all of the senses, you know, ear, nose, throat, all of this, these are all in our head area. The skin is the largest organ sense organ of the body, so it's a big chief. Anything that goes into the skin, on the skin gets absorbed into the skin, into the body, I should say, on the skin, in the body. And our little antennas for perception and intuition come through all our senses. You know, what we see, what we smell, what we hear, you know, even like what's going on in our mouth, you know, what we taste, that all registers in this layer of intelligence that we can tap into, and it can become really, 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 really high and expansive, or really, 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 really dull. So, you know, this is why cleansing, what happens when I see it all the time in Panchakarma is that when people cleanse, oh, God, I'm getting creative. I want to do this now. I want to do that now. I should be doing this. I want to make a change doing that. And I say, okay, just journal everything down, write it down while you're in the cleanse. Don't action it yet. Because when they finish the cleanse keeps going. You know, I've seen people keep dropping weight after their cleanse, because what happens during the cleanse, the body's doing a lot of work with eliminating, and then afterwards it's reprogramming. It's got rid of all this junk, and their appetite's different. They're not having the cravings they were anymore, so they're making healthier choices. So then all of these systems are on the go. You know, all these sensory organs are picking up all this amazing stuff that's really in the universe, right? And so you can tap in at any time.
And our body is a hyper-tuned machine. If you look at it as like an engineer, like you can resemble it to a car. You know, everyone knows that even if you're not a mechanic, you have to change your filter, you have to change your oil, and every once in a while you have to do like a heavy, like you have to go see a mechanic to get like everything switched out. Even if you keep your house clean, like doesn't it feel good like once or twice a year to just like do a deep clean? Like you move the dresser, you move the bed, you just whack them underneath, and when you take that first breath, when you're all done, you're like, yeah, I feel good. That's what cleansing is. You know what I mean? Like you play some music, I was just like, this is fun. I used to think that health was like for like these athletes, and I thought it was just obsessive compulsiveness, but I never realized how blessed we are to have this is a really beautiful machine that we have. We're really blessed to have it.
Yeah. If you wait to eat, you know, well, I guess that's coffee's out.
You can have coffee, just mix it with coconut oil.
She likes it.
So
Yay!
you want organic coffee. Luckily we live in Hawaii, so we have access to good coffee, but it's acidic.
Yeah,
So
right.
if that's the first thing you drink, it has to pull calcium from your bones.
Right.
So you brew coffee, then put it in a Vitamix or a blender, and blend it with coconut oil, some grass-fed butter, and put a little bit. You can put a little bit of calcium in it, and you make it into like a latte or something. It changes the texture.
It gets really frothy and creamy.
But the acidity mixed with the fats allows it to slowly to digest, and since you're mixing it with like a fibrous fat, it makes it not as acidic.
Oh,
So you can. It's called. You can Google search. It's called the bulletproof
Absolutely.
coffee.
And it's no sugar in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So most of the things I do for people, if they have a certain life, like I believe in salt, but people are eating like white table salt, which has 0 minerals except for iodine, and it's been irradiated and it's been bleached. Why don't you use a sea salt or the most optimized, a pink Himalayan salt? So my system, my lifestyle enhancement program is not about taking away. It's just about upgrading and enhancing what you're ready to do.
And that's the same with what I do in Ayurvedic medicine as well, the same approach. So I treat everyone as an individual, whatever imbalances they have, and then, formulate a program to suit their needs for a goal that they want to reach. And, if someone is even smoking cigarettes or drinking beer or whatever, I just go, okay, well, this is the best time of day to do that. If you need to have that in your life, let's make sure that you have it at a time where it doesn't deplete your digestive fire. So when you don't want anything suppressing your appetite, you want to build it up. And sometimes, smoking cigarettes in the morning will suppress the appetite, so then you're not actually allowing the body's natural rhythm to create the digestive juices that it needs to get rid of the toxins. So you're suppressing everything. So that's why everything gets very gluey and sort of not functioning properly, because everything's got a system inside your body like the law of nature outside here. So we're not saying that it's your choice to do whatever you want to choose to do, but we never say, oh, you're a bad person. No, it's not like that at all. I mean, if you want to do it, you can do it, but just know when and how to do it. If you have something that's really, 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 really like bitter and acidic, then follow it with something alkaline so it balances out the body. And actually, bitter is the best choice for taste in regard to health.
Bitter's what?
Bitter is the best choice of taste for health.
Oh.
Lots of greens and things like that, dandelion tea, because the liver is the biggest store ground for toxins. And so that's where everything goes and stores in the liver, and other things do lodge in other parts of the body. That's why we get like these other imbalances elsewhere. But in the digestive system, it's the liver. So anything bitter, that's why when people have coffee, they eliminate. Because it gets assimilated and the liver doesn't like it, throws it out of the body with a bunch of other stuff, and usually people will evacuate and they'll have a bowel movement.
And watch out with caffeine. The caffeine elimination pathway from the liver is the same that you get rid of estrogen. So if you're a woman and you have thyroid problems, your doctor will instantly provide like fake synthetic hormones, and that's like putting fuel on a fire. Really, you want to detox and open up that elimination pathway and get rid of caffeine until your hormones, your estrogen's able to like get rid of itself.